Hey boys and girls, this is Miss Jackson. I am going to read you guys a story. I just want to tell you first, though, that I miss you all very much and I can't wait to see you again. And hopefully it won't be too much longer and we'll be back in class together again. So the story I'm going to read is by Barbara Park. It's a Junie B. Jones book. And we've already read a few Junie B. Jones books, and I know how much you enjoy them. And usually Miss Hadar reads them to you at lunch. And I know that you enjoy listening to Miss Hadar read, and we miss Miss Hadar as well. But this one is called Boss of Lunch. So I'm going to read a few chapters, and then possibly make another video and have a few more chapters read. Okay? So this is Junie B. Jones. The first chapter, chapter 1, is called Not Normal. And she's writing her little diary. Thursday. Dear first grade journal, hooray, hooray, it came. It finally came. Yesterday, the delivery man brought it right to my house. And today, I carried it to school for the very first time. Right now, it is sitting under my desk. I keep sneaking down there to see it closer. But my teacher just said to please stop doing that. Only guess what? He is not even watching me right now. So I think I will sneak down there one more time. And that will be it. Possibly. I wish myself good luck. From Junie B., first grader. I put down my pencil and I looked all around the room. Room 1 was still writing in their journals. I smiled very sneakily. Then I bent over my chair real slow and I reached way down and I lifted up the lid of my brand new shiny lunchbox. Hollered out May. Junie Jones has opened her lunchbox again, Mr. Scary, and you told her not to do that anymore, remember? May is that tattletale girl who sits next to me. I do not actually care for her. My heart pounded very hard, and I bent over even more, and I hid my head so the teacher couldn't see me. Only I didn't do a good job of hiding because just then I heard Mr. Scary's voice and his shoes walking towards me. Junie B., why is your lunchbox open again? Asked Mr. Scary. Didn't I just speak to you about this a few minutes ago? I kept my head down and I looked at the floor. One of Mr. Scary's shoes started tapping at me. Tappy shoes are not happy shoes, I think. Junie B., said Mr. Scary again, do you have a good reason for opening your lunchbox again? I closed my eyes and tried to think of a good reason. Mr. Scary's shoe tapped louder. I opened my eyes and peeked at it. And then, bingo! All of a sudden, a miracle happened. One of my eyes saw a napkin in the corner of my lunchbox. A bright idea popped right into my head. I grabbed the napkin and started shining Mr. Scary's shoes. Look, Mr. Scary, look. Here is a good reason, I said. See me, huh? I am shining your shoes with my napkin, see? I shined and shined. This is the smartest reason I could come up with, and I am very proud. I smiled at him. Would you like to spit on the napkin? I asked in a real nice voice. A little spit makes the shoes look extra gleamy. Mr. Scary pulled his shoe away. No, Junie B., no spit, please. Just sit up, he said. I sat up. Mr. Scary stared and stared at me. I wiggled in my seat very uncomfortably, 'cause staring teachers make me squirmy. 'Cause, finally, Mr. Scary talked again. I want you to stay out of your lunchbox, Junie B., he said. We have a rule in room 1. Lunchboxes are only opened in the cafeteria. I did a sigh. Yes, I said. I know the rule, Mr. Scary, but I waited such a long time to get this lunchbox. And yesterday it finally came to my house. And so today is my first day of not carrying a plain brown sack to school. And so every time I look at the new lunchbox, it makes me feel happy inside. I picked it up to show him. See how cute it is? I said. My mother ordered it from the nature store. It has pictures of baby birds on it. See all of them? I pointed. This is my favorite one, I said. It is called the owlet. Owlet is the name of a baby owl. My grandpa Frank Miller told me that. I pointed at a different bird. That one is an eaglet, I said. An eaglet is a baby eagle. After that, I held my lunchbox way high in the air so all of room 1 could see it. See all the birdlets, children? There are owlets and eaglets and ducklets and chicklets, I explained. I put my lunchbox on my desk and I took out my thermos. And see the thermos, people? This thermos has pictures of birds and nests on it. Isn't that cute? Here she is, showing the class a picture of her new lunchbox. May made a face. Ugh, she said. Who wants to drink out of a stinky, pooey bird's nest? I made a face at her. I do. That's who, May, I said. I love drinking out of stinky, pooey bird's nests. May reached into her desk and pulled out her lunch ticket. Well, I buy my lunch, Junie B. Jones, she said. Bought lunches are much better than brought lunches. Bought lunches don't have to sit around all morning and get soggy. I crossed my arms at that girl. That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard of, May, I said right back to her. Brought lunches are way better than bought lunches because brought lunches are made special by our very own mothers. Mr. Scary did a frown. Okay, girls, that's enough, he said. But May kept on arguing with me. For your information, Junie Jones, mothers are not professional lunch makers, she said. Mothers are just plain old normal people. I stamped my foot at her because that was the final straw. Do not call my mother normal, May, I hollered. No one in my whole entire family is normal. So there. May started to laugh. Then some of the other children laughed too. I do not know why. Finally, Mr. Scary snapped his fingers at them, and I put my lunch box back on the floor. It was not my best morning. Chapter 2, Hoagies. The bell rang at 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock is around noonish, I believe. I picked up my lunchbox and ran to the door. Then I lined up with my friends and I waited to go. It's almost time, I told them, very thrilled. It's almost time for me to eat out of my brand new lunchbox. I held it up for all of them to see again. Which baby bird do you guys like the best? I said. Pick one, okay? My friend named Jose looked at the birds and shrugged his shoulders. I don't know. I guess maybe I like the duck best, he said. Ducks can be funny sometimes. One time, when we were having a picnic at the lake, a duck chased my sister and stole her ho-ho. My friends Lenny and Herb laughed really hard, and they looked at my lunchbox too. I think I like the owlets the best, said Herb. Me too, said Lenny. I saw a TV show on owls once, and an owl swallowed a giant rat in just one bite. He didn't even chew it or anything. After that, I stared at Lenny for a long time. 'Cause that disgusting story just ruined my owlet. That's why. Finally, all of room 1 walked to the cafeteria together. The cafeteria is a big room where we eat lunch. It has smells and noises and tables in it. Room 1 sits near the window. I zoomed there speedy quick. Come, Herb, I called. Come, Lenny and Jose. It's time for you to watch me eat out of my brand new lunchbox. I turned around to wait for them. Only too bad for me, because none of the guys were even coming. Instead, they were standing in a line waiting for their dumb lunch line. My mouth fell open in that sight. Herb, hey Herb, I called out. What do you think you're doing? Why aren't you coming to eat with me? Herb shouted back, I'm buying my lunch today, Junie B. Jose shouted back, me too. Everyone is buying today, Junie B. Hoagies, we're having hoagies, hollered Lenny. Save us a seat. My shoulders slumped in real disappointment, 'cause I wasn't expecting this development. I sat down at my table and I looked all around. There was only one other person sitting there, and his name is Sheldon. I do not know him that good. Sheldon waved his fingers at me. "We're the only ones here," he said. "We're the only ones who didn't buy hoagies today." So here's Junie B. And there's her friends Herb and Lenny. And they're buying their lunch. And they're in the line. And then this is Sheldon sitting across from her. I did a sigh. "Yes, Sheldon, I know that," I said. Sheldon slid across from me. "Hoagies are very popular, but I'm not allowed to eat them," he said. "I'm allergic to fake meat and cheese." I looked Sheldon over closer. His nose was running very much. "Please wipe your nose," I said. Sheldon didn't pay attention to me. "I'm only allowed to eat food that comes from nature," he said. And then his nose ran even more. "Also, I'm allergic to dairy," he told me. I handed him my napkin. "Blow, and I mean it," I said. Sheldon did not blow. I slid to the end of the table. Pretty soon my friends would start coming out of the kitchen, and the other children started coming too. They sat down and took big bites of their hoagies. "Mmm," said Herb. "This hoagie is delicious." "Sí," said Jose. "Muy delicioso." Lenny nodded. Then he opened up his hoagie roll and looked inside. "You think you even would like this hoagie, Junie B?" he said. "Look, it has ham and salami and cheese and lettuce and tomato." Just then, May butted her big head in. "It's good for you, too, Junie Jones," she said. "All school lunches have to be delicious and nutritious. It's a law." "So," I said. "So lunches brought from home can be any old thing," she said back. I did a huff breath at her. Then I turned back and I slid my sandwich very secret and I peeked inside the bread. I stared and stared for a long time because I didn't actually recognize the meat. That's why. Finally, I ate it anyway. It was tasty, whatever it was. All right, chapter 3. Cookies. And here's Junie B. Here's a picture of Junie B. She's turned away from the table and she looked at her sandwich and she decided to eat that meat anyway, even though she didn't know what it was, but she thought it was delicious. And I'm sure whatever her mother made her was delicious. It was something she would eat. All right, chapter 3, cookies. I was the first one done with my lunch. That's because eating hoagies takes forever, of course. I put my lunchbox away and I looked at Herb's plate. He had like 3 or 4 more foods to go. First, he had carrot sticks. Also, he had applesauce and a cookie. I leaned closer. I think that's a sugar cookie, Herbert, I said. Sugar cookies are my favorites. Herb nodded at me. Me too, he said. I like sugar cookies too. I touched his cookie with my finger. Yes, sirree, Bob, that's a sugar cookie all right, Herb, I said. I didn't get a cookie at all today. My mother packed me a fruit bar instead. Oh, said Herb. Well, fruit bars are good too. I tapped my fingers on the table because Herb didn't get my hint. Yes, Herbert, I know fruit bars are good, I said, but I really wanted a cookie today. So I wish that you would just share that thing with me, and that's all. Herb looked at me and shrugged. Why didn't you just say so? He said. Then he broke his cookie in two, and he handed me half. I gushed real happy. Oh, thank you, Herb. Thank you, I said. After that, I stuffed the cookie right into my mouth, and I drank a sip of Herb's milk. And there she is, poking her fingers and taking his milk and eating half his sugar cookie. Yum, that tasted just like the cookies that Miss Gutzman's used to bring to afternoon kindergarten, I said. I smiled and I thought of that woman. Gladys Gutzman, our snack lady last year, I explained to Herb. She used to bring us cookies and milk every week. I made my voice kind of secret. Only guess what, Herbert? Sometimes Miss Gutzman's gave me 2 cookies instead of 1, I said, because I was her favorite person in room 9, I think. Jose heard what I said. Hey, that must mean that I was her favorite in room 8, because sometimes Miss Gutzman gave me an extra cookie too. After that, me and Jose did a high five because both of us were her favorites, apparently. That woman was a gem, I tell you, I said. What do you mean she was a gem, Junie B., said Jose. She still is a gem. Miss Guzman still works here, you know. What? I said, very surprised. Sure she does, said Herb. I met Miss Guzman already this year. She works right there in the kitchen. I couldn't believe my ears. Really? I said, really? 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 Because if Miss Guzman still works at our school, how come she doesn't bring us milk and cookies this year? Herb shrugged. I don't know, he said. But she still works here all right. In fact, I saw her just now when we were getting our hoagies. I put my hand over my mouth because that news was too good to be true. Jose laughed. You don't believe us? Go see for yourself, he said. I will, Jose. I will go see for myself, I said with a real joyful. Then I zoomed right out of my seat and I zoomed into the kitchen and I hollered and hollered for Miss Guzman. All right, we're going to stop right there at chapter 4. And I'll start another video and I'll read some more to you later. Bye-bye, children. I'll see you later.